Welcome to RickRackRuby. I'm Laura Cluvel. After making a few necktie skirts, I discovered that I had quite a few of the leftover strips. And I have created quite a few designs using those strips, but one of the most fun and easy projects is a necktie daisy. The daisy's made with 6 tips cut from the skinny end of the tie. It's fast and easy, so let's get started. To make the daisy, we'll need 6 petals. Each petal is cut from the tip of a necktie. 2 inches up the side. Don't include the point, just 2 inches right here. I cut 7 just to be sure, just in case there's one I don't like. I'm making sure these are all, they don't have any of the lining or interlining in the tips. That adds a little bit of thickness, and then one petal will look different from the others. We don't want that. I think I'm going to eliminate this one just because it's a wider tie and it might be out of proportion. I'll use this craft and button thread to gather up the petals. I have a knot in the end, a single strand, and I like to use a thimble. I'm going to sew them from the back, so I'll just flip them over right now. I like to see the back to make sure that I'm getting the fold. I'm securing the fold. So I'll just do a little running stitch, a little bit, looks like it's a little bit less than 1/4 of an inch from the raw edge. I'm going to go around clockwise. All 6 of my petals have been gathered, and so I'm just going to draw them up and join those last 2 petals right there. I want it to be tight and flat. This looks good. So I'm going to secure the thread. I always use thrifted ties. I like the idea of recycling neckties, and before I start any necktie project, I always dry clean the ties with my home dry cleaning kit called Dryel. I have the best chance of getting the ties to be smooth and flat and clean when I dry clean them ahead of time. I'm not going to cut my thread yet because I think I can use the same thread to attach the button to the center. This is a button form for covering your own buttons. This is a little bit over 1 inch. This is a piece cut from a necktie. I just wanted something with contrast. And this is a piece of 50 weight Pellon. This is a 2 1/4 inch circle. I just followed the instructions that were provided in the button covering kit. This is the top of the button. This is the bottom of the button. I'm going to set this in the center and press it into this sort of rubber form and make sure it's pressed in there. I'm going to fold all of this excess fabric. It seems like it's a lot of fabric, but it always turns out great. Then I'm going to set the back on. I'm going to kind of press it in just with my thumbs, but this tool is what you actually use to make sure that it gets all the way down. There's almost like a little pop that it pops in, and then just make sure. That looks good. It's nice and smooth all the way around, and then this is how we're going to attach the button to the center through this little loop on the back. So I still have my thread in the back here. It's nice and neat. And I will just choose a pair of petals. In this case, it's going to be these two right here, and just go across through the button. I think I'll go through about 3 or 4 times. I'm pulling it nice and tight. So now I will secure this thread on the back of the flower. The next step is to sew a little circle of black velveteen. You could use anything. You could use just regular fabric or felt or fleece or anything you like, but I had this black velveteen, so I decided to use this. It's a 1.5 inch circle, and I'm just going to stitch it around the edge. It does not have to be perfect. This is the back, no one will see it. I'm just going to stitch around the edge. I'm taking care to be sure that none of the black thread shows on the front. So even though I'm sewing through, I'm just catching the back of those ties. I'm back around to where I started, so I'm ready to sew on the pin back. Sometimes you might have a preference about which petals you want to be at the top or the side or the bottom, maybe. Maybe this will be the top. I'll have this the top, this the bottom, this will be the sides. This is a 1 inch pin back. It comes from a package by Darice. Since I decided I wanted this one to be the top, I'm going to put this slightly off center up toward the top. This, closer to this tie. To sew on the pin back, I'm going to use these 3 little holes, and I'll just be stitching back and forth through those holes to secure it. I've used 6 stitches to secure this, and I think that should be good. I'm just going to tie off my thread, and there we go. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.